Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Here we are, the last few hours of 1440, Dhul Hijjah, right before the end of our 30th day. Asking Allah Ta'ala for success in our study of Al-Ajur Rumiyya. Now yesterday I mentioned to you we would make a recording and finish it up, but it's better that we spend a second session on the same lesson and spend more time with it and get more practice, because it is an important lesson, and that is lesson number 34. فَالنَّوَاصِبُ عَشَرَةٌ. There are 10 nawasib. Nawasib is the plural of nasiba. Nasiba. Naam. Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ghashiyah, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ الْغَاشِيَةِ وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة. ناصبة عاملة, hard work. ناصبة, set in the way and hard and fixed, firm work. But تصلى نارا حامية, but then it will enter the hellfire that's burning. Those are the deeds of the people who will not have their deeds accepted, but they did works and they did hard work. طيب, so ناصبة means to make something firm, fixed. In Nahu it means to make something Mansoob. That means, what's Mansoob? Give me a ta'rif of Mansoob. Create one, because you haven't been given one. What's Mansoob as a definition? الذي. Just say الذي في آخره الفتحة علامة أصلية. وإلا, what are the alamat far'iyya for a nasb? Who knows? Hazf nun is one of them. You said? Len, that's a nasib. That's different than asking what are the alamatun nasb. What's the sign that the word is mansoob? One is a fatha, alamatan asliya. Another one is hazf nun. Another one is al-kasra. Right, in al-mamnu min al-sarf, the other way around with it. Jam' al-mu'annath al-salim, he beat you to it. طيب, jam' al-mu'annath al-salim. خلق الله السماوات wal-arda. It's mansoob. Alamatu nasbihi al-kasra. So we're dealing with these things. What about ya being a sign of mansoob? And what? رأيت رجلين. Quick, see, look at this, quick draw. Nice, it's in there, isn't it? It's easy to access when it's there. What about an alif being a sign of nasb? Is that a thing? في تثنية الأسماء خاصة. An alif? في الأسماء الخمسة. نعم, في الأسماء. So we're talking about أفعال, right? We're talking about فعل مضارع. And alif is a sign of it being mansoob, but not really for the sake of our discussion. Our discussion is about af'al mansooba. So we're looking at a fatha. We're looking at a what? Hadfu noon. What else are we looking at? Hadfu? Harf al-illa? No, that would be for jazm. But for nas, we're looking at the fatha, and we're looking for the hadfu noon. Let's go. We did the 10. We introduced the 10 nasibas. 7 of them yesterday, we got some details. So I'm going to ask you about those 7, and then we'll add on the last 3 that we were to have covered last night. But قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. We did not. First one is N. Let me ask you about this N. Does this include anna with a shadda on the noon? La. Does this include in with a sukoon? In? No, that's shartiyya, that's something else. We mean N, purely N. N. Sukoon on the noon, fatha on that hamzat qata. An. Not in, not inna, not anna, not inna, not anna, nothing like that. Just an. An. That comes before what? It comes before a fi'l mudari'. The an is masdariyya. Right? Give me an example of this an with a fi'l mansoob after it. Give me one. From yourself or from the Quran, whatever you want to do. However much aspiration you have. Uridu an aktuba. Uridu. Now why did you put a dhamma on your uridu? I thought we're doing أفعال منصوبة here. أريد. This is a فعل مضارع. And remember, it's marfu' when we don't have a nasib or a jazm. We have nothing except أريد. So it has to be أريد. It has to be with a dhamma. Because it's marfu' علامة رفعه الضمة. طيب أريد أن أكتب. أريد أن, we've got that N. أن أكتب. أكتب, not أكتب. If you just started the sentence, you would say أكتب اسمي على الورقة. I'm writing my name on the paper. أكتب. أكتب أنا. But he's saying أكتب. أريد أن أكتب. You put a fatha on there. Do the i'rab, ya Aba Asiya, ya Jibril. Do the i'rab of أكتب. فعل مضارع منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. نيابة? We don't say نيابة because it is the علامة أصلية. أحسنت. Now who can do this? This is a question for over here on the right side. Who can give me a فعل مضارع? فعل مضارع with N. So it's going to be منصوب. But the علامة is not a فتحة. Something else. It's got to have N. And tajlis. And tajlis. What are you putting on the scene? Because you sort of just ran away from it and you didn't really want to put something on it.
What was the question again?
Give me a فعل مضارع منصوب بأن علامة نصبه ليست فتحة. Something that doesn't have a fatha as a sign of being mansoob. يعني علامة فرعية. Not the علامة أصلية. لن يذهبوا. But you didn't give me one with N. I don't want len. I want N.
Okay.
We're on number 1 out of 10 here, N. But you got the idea, just do it like that. يريدون. And يفلحوا. Nice. Okay. يريدون. He started off with a فعل مضارع مرفوع. علامة رفعه. Yes, النون, ثبوت النون. And then يريدون أن يذهبوا, or you said يفلحوا. يفلحوا. Not يفلحون. Why do you take the noon off? Because of the N. N is the nasib. N changes the status of that فعل مضارع from يفلحون with a noon because it's marfu' to يفلحوا with no noon. Put an alif there for rasam, just to show that the noon was taken away. يفلحوا, no noon. The noon's gone because we changed from marfu' to mansoob. Now make the i'rab of يفلحوا. So فعل مضارع, like Ibrahim adds, منصوب علامة نصبه حذف النون. Nice. Is that right, Sultan? It is, and you should say yes, it is. طيب, for you, Nafis, the question is, why is it called mastariyah? And why is it called mastariyah? Harf, mastariyah. Why is it called mastariyah and mastariyah? You could sort of exchange the an yaf'al phrase with the masdar of that fi'l. So what you've done, I want you to take the example you gave us and do that exactly. Get rid of this whole an yuflihu and exchange it for one single word that has the meaning of an yuflihu. Take off an. You can't even use an. The an is masdariyah. Get rid of it. Yuriduna, one word. What do they want? Al-falah. You get it? That's why it's masdariyah. Aflaha yuflihu falahan. You can say iflahan ala al-qiyas. Falahan. Yeah? So aflaha yuflihu falahan. That's the falah is what they want. Yuriduna al-falah. And yuflihu falah. Yani, wa an tasumu khayrun lakum. Wa an tasumu becomes sawmukum. وَصَوْمُكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَأَن تَسُومُوا becomes صَوْمُكُمْ. Take the masdar from صَامَ يَسُومُ. It's صَوْم or صِيام. صَوْمُكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ صِيَامُكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Like that. That's why it's called masdariyah. Number 2, lan. Lan has 3 benefits that we talked about yesterday. What are they? It's a nafi for the mustaqbal, and it negates the future, and it does something in i'rab. Nasib. It makes the fi'l mansoob. That's what we're talking about. Nawasib. The second one's lan. Lan. And Ibrahim gave us yesterday, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا حرف نصب ونفي ومستقبل. Yeah, so it negates for the future and it makes the verb mansoob. I gave you that verse. قُلْ لَن يَنْفَعَكُمُ الْفِرَارُ إِنْ فَرَرْتُم مِّنَ الْمَوْتِ أَوْ الْقَتْلِ لَن يَنْفَعَكُمْ, not لَن يَنْفَعُكُمْ. It's يَنْفَعُ في الأصل. يَنْفَعُكُمْ. But here put a len in front of it. لَن يَنْفَعَكُمْ. ينفع is mansoob. علامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة. ينفع, not ينفع, but ينفع. We changed it from ينفع مرفوع to ينفع because of لن. Same example back from Nafis. His example was يريدون أن يفلحوا. Negate it with a لن. ولكن لن يفلحوا ولكنهم لن يفلحوا. لن يفلحوا. So we have يفلحون. لن يفلحوا. Who could I say this about? لن يفلحوا. الكفار, المشركين, المبتدعون, لن يفلحوا. لن يفلحوا. Number 3. إذن. There's something I didn't mention to you yesterday that's good to patch up here. إذن is written with a noon, and إذن can be written like the word إذا with a tanween on the dhal. So it's إذن. No matter what way you read it, it's إذن. Whether it's a noon written, إذن, or an alif after the dhal, and you put tanween on the dhal. إذن. In both cases, it's إذن. In the Quran, it's إذن with tanween. In the Quran. And this إذن is a harf, ism or fi'l? Which one? It's a harf. And remember, tanween is a sign of asma. So this is an exception. This is just the word إذن with a noon being written in the mushaf with tanween. Otherwise, tanween is a sign of asma, nouns. طيب. So the word إذن here, it can be written either way. And in fact, when you see it in the Quran, إذن, it's going to have the tanween, and you're going to possibly be confused. Let me add a good example from the Book of Allah for that. In Surah Al-Isra, وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُونَ خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. From Surah Al-Isra, you can write down the 76th verse of Surah Al-Isra. وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُونَ خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Where's the shahid? وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُونَ. What did I say? With noon, right? يَلْبَثُونَ. What are you expecting it to be? وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُوا. Because remember, it has to be mansoob, right? What am I giving you? I'm giving you, when you look this up in Surah Al-Isra, you're going to see إِذًا, and then a fi'l mudari', and it's going to have a noon. And that noon being there on a fi'l from أفعال الخمسة means that fi'l is marfu' because it's a noon on there. Pay attention. وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُونَ خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Why am I giving you this as a shahid if it's the opposite of what you're expecting? Because there are qira'at. Because there are other recitations of the verse. And you can guess one of those recitations is the recitation of Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who said what? وَإِذًا. What should it be according to our rule? يَلْبَثُوا خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُوا with the noon mahdhufa. So then because it's a qira'ah, it's in the Book of Allah and it's not what's in our mushaf, which is the qira'ah of Hafs an Asim, but other qira'at have from the speech of Allah, وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُوا. وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُوا. And the la nafiya doesn't change anything about the i'rab. When you say يَذْهَبُونَ and you put in front of it لَا يَذْهَبُونَ, still marfu, it doesn't affect anything. If I said لِكَيْ يَذْهَبُوا, if I add a la there, لِكَيْ لَا يَذْهَبُوا, it doesn't affect anything. The la nafiya does not interfere with the i'rab. It just makes it from affirmative to negative. It doesn't change marfu' to anything. That's the la nafiya, not the la nahiya, not the la, the prohibitive la. La tajlis huna. Not the prohibiting la, but the negating la only. Huwa la yuhibbu Allah. La yuhibbu Allah. Yuhibbu. Huwa yuhibbu Allah. Huwa la yuhibbu Allah. It doesn't change. It's marfu', marfu'. Yuridu an yadhhaba. Yuridu an la yadhhaba. It's the same. The la does not interfere. The la just for the negation, pure negation, does not interfere with i'rab. So then we have here, وَإِذًا لَا يَلْبَثُوا خِلَافَكَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Again, the 76th verse of Al-Isra. So that's إِذًا. So he says, إِذًا أُكْرِمَكَ. إِذًا أُكْرِمَكَ. And the إِذًا is the nasiba. أُكْرِمَكَ. Make the i'rab of أُكْرِمَكَ. يا Sultan. أُكْرِمَكَ. الفتحة الظاهرة على آخر. Nice. Sultan, very well done. Barakallahu feek. Idhan is called harf jawab wa nasb. Harfu jawab. Because it comes in a dialogue as a jawab. Idhan kada. Idhan kada. And it's my response to something. Ummuka marida. If that was said to you, what are you going to do? Ya Nafisu. Ummuka marida. Amshiya. إذن أمشي إليها إذن أذهب إليها. You're going to make your فعل مضارع. إذن أبادر إليها. I'm rushing right to her then. My mother is sick. أذهب إليها. أذهب. Not أذهب. أذهب. K, example that I gave you yesterday for K, which is for ta'lil, tells you why something was done. Like a jawab for لماذا. So if I said جلست في المسجد, then someone said لماذا تقول كي جلست في المسجد كي أقرأ القرآن كي أحضر الدرس. not أحضر, not أقرأ, but أقرأ and أحضر Mansoob. Yeah, you remember that from yesterday. Then the lam K is the same thing. Change the K to just a lam. جلست في المسجد لماذا لأقرأ. لأقرأ means كي أقرأ. تعليل, the lam of ta'lil. It's called lam K, and K is for ta'lil.
How do you translate ta'lil?
An explanation, giving you the reason, giving you the illah, explanatory. So, أهديت له هدية كي ماذا? Complete my sentence for me. أهديت له هدية. I gave him a gift. كي أهنئه كي أهنئه to congratulate him. ولد له ولد فأعطيته شيئا كي أهنئه in order to congratulate him. لكي أحترمه, not أحترمه, but أحترمه, in order for me to show respect and honor for him. Nice. طيب. And the same thing with lam. لأحترمه, لكي أحترمه, or كي أحترمه, any of that. Go over to 7. حتى. حتى, easy one, very common. It means إلى أن. So حتى تأتيهم البينة. حتى تأتيهم. We got لام الجحود before that. لام الجحود comes with ما كان or لم يكن. ما كان الله ليغفر لهم. لم يكن الله كذا ليفعل. Iblis said when he was told to make sujood to Adam, قال لم أكن لأسجد لبشر. لم أكن لأسجد. He didn't say لأسجد. No. لأسجد لبشر. I ain't no one to ever make a prostration to a human being. The power of the language is not just ليس لي and أسجد, but لم أكن لأسجد لبشر. I am no one to ever prostrate to a man. Look at the audacity of his speech to Allah. He's speaking to Allah with this language. He was told to make sujood. He said, "Lam akun li asjuda li basharin." I'm not one to ever do that. I mean, it's audaciously bold in opposition to the order. Surah Al-Hijr, the 33rd verse. This brings out the story a little bit more for you. The kibr, the arrogance of Iblis. becomes a little bit more obvious here. He didn't say ma asjudu, la asjudu, lan asjuda. He didn't say that. What did he say? قال لم أكن لأسجد لبشر. Notice how it comes after لم أكن أنا لأسجد. He's not saying lan asjuda, he's saying لم أكن لأسجد. Now you know why it's called lam al-juhud. Look at his juhud. Juhud is like outright denial, rejecting it, denying it, disbelieving in it. Juhud. Hatta, we read it yesterday, حتى تأتيهم البينة. أريد أن أقرأ القرآن حتى أحفظ القرآن. Or حتى أحفظ كله. يعني إلى أن أحفظ. So this حتى has the idea of غاية. All the way to this point. إلى أن أفعل. أريد أن أجلس معك حتى أحبك. I want to sit with you until I am a person who loves you. حتى أحبك. Not حتى أحبك. حتى, this is why people always read the hadith of a Sadiq al-Masduq wrong. And they don't understand why. It's in the hadith of a Sadiq al-Masduq. وَإِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَعْمَلُ بِعَمَلِ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ حتى ما يكون or ما يكون حتى, and the ma is منفية like لا, حتى لا يكون حتى ما يكون. Now you know why it's حتى لا يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع. حتى ما يكون, not حتى ما يكون. No, because we have حتى here. حتى is now صيبة. حتى ما يكون بينه وبينها إلا ذراع. And so look, what are we going to do with these last elusive three? They actually require time. We're going to have to do a third session where we just come into it. And I ask you a couple beginning questions, inshallah, and then we get right to numbers 8, 9, and 10. Because these last three require a little bit of work. Just to note a real quick thing, hatta comes in front of asma too. Salamun hiya hatta matla'i. Hatta matla'i. And in that case it becomes khafid. Before a noun, it makes the ism majroor or makhfud. هذا ما يسر الله لنا في شرح الآجرومية في هذه الليلة الطيبة. فنحمد الله تعالى على ما نفعنا به ونصلي ونسلم على أشرف خلقه وعلى آله وصحبه.